For a man who died before age 50, Željko Ražnatović, better known as Arkan, lived quite an eventful life, first as a notorious bank robber and prison escape artist, then as the leader of a gang of football hooligans. He also performed political assassinations for the state in exchange for protection from prosecution. When war broke out in Yugoslavia in the early 1990s, Arkan formed his band of hooligan supporters into a paramilitary fighting force backed by the state. They became known as Arkan's Tigers. Željko Ražnatović, the man who would come to be known as Arkan, was born on April 17, 1952, in the Socialist Republic of Slovenia. The family later relocated to Belgrade, which Željko considered his hometown. His father was a decorated officer in the Yugoslav Air Force. Though young Željko admired and respected his father, even desiring to follow him into the military, the two had a strained relationship with instances of physical abuse. By the time Arkan was in his early teens, he had already began a life of crime. After being arrested in 1966 for purse snatching, Arkan's father attempted to set his son straight and sign him up for the Yugoslav Navy. Instead, Arkan fled to Paris. In 1969, he was deported back to Yugoslavia and spent further time in a detention center. While incarcerated, Arkan formed a prison gang, an early indication of his ability to organize and lead hard men. After being released in the early 1970s, Arkan relocated to Western Europe to ply his criminal trade. While in Europe, Arkan's network of criminal contacts included many feared Yugoslavian gangsters. His name, Arkan, originated from a name he used on a forged passport while traveling through Europe. He was very active during the 1970s, committing many jewelry and bank robberies in numerous countries, including Belgium, Sweden, the Netherlands, West Germany, Italy, Austria, and Switzerland. He often left a rose on the counter during his robberies as a calling card. Though he was arrested and imprisoned many times in several different countries, Arkan proved himself to be an elusive escape artist. In 1979, Arkan escaped from Verviers prison in Belgium, and though he was only on the run for less than 4 months, he managed to commit at least 5 more armed robberies. In 1981, he once again escaped from prison in Amsterdam after he was slipped a gun. The following month, he was wounded during a shootout with police following yet another robbery. He then escaped from the prison hospital and, according to reports, assaulted a pedestrian, took their clothing, and escaped. In 1983, Arkan escaped from Thornburg prison in Switzerland. By May 1983, Arkan was back in Belgrade and was one of Interpol's most wanted men. Upon his return to Belgrade, Arkan continued his criminal ways, and after a bank robbery in Zagreb, 2 plainclothes police officers went to Arkan's mother's apartment to speak to him. The men, however, told his mother that they were friends who had come to pay off a debt. At some point, Arkan's mother called him and told him about the 2 men who were waiting for him. Arkan then showed up at the apartment a short time later with a pistol and shot and wounded both officers. He was immediately arrested, yet released 48 hours later. This was a clear sign to anyone watching that Arkan was being protected by the state. These suspicions were confirmed by his former handler, former State Secretary Senior Officer Boza Spasic, who confirmed that Arkan was recruited by the state to carry out political assassinations and that he was, professionally speaking, the best. When Arkan went on trial for an assault charge, he informed the court that he was protected by the Secretariat of Internal Affairs and produced documentation that seemed to verify this. The core of what would come to be known as Arkan's Tigers can be traced back to the hooligan supporters of the Red Star Belgrade Football Club. The Delige, as the supporters were collectively known, was headed by Arkan. This made Arkan even more useful to the state, since the Red Star supporters could be wielded as a weapon against dissidents and political enemies of the state. In late 1990, as tensions mounted within Yugoslavia, Arkan and his fellow Red Star supporters formed the Serbian Volunteer Guard. The unit, comprised of many fellow football hooligans, was a paramilitary organization which claimed to exist to protect ethnic Serbs, numbered between 500 and 1,000 men strong. This unit, which had the backing of the state, was led by Arkan and came to be known as Arkan's Tigers. After Slovenia and Croatia declared independence from Yugoslavia in June 1991, Arkan and his men were tasked with protecting ethnic Serbs who were caught in the war zone. The Tigers saw heavy combat in the Vukovar region of Croatia. They have been accused of committing war crimes in the region, including murdering civilians. Arkan himself was also charged for his role in the murder of nearly 70 non-Serbs in the Sanski Most region of Bosnia and Herzegovina over a 2-day span in September 1995. When the war ended, Arkan returned to civilian life. In February 1995, he married Serbia's top pop star, Ceca. The couple's wedding was broadcast internationally. He also purchased a second division football club, which he quickly turned into a winner, though there have been accusations of threats and violence against opposing players and coaches. After an investigation by the sport's governing body, Arkan was forced to step down as club president. On January 15, 2000, Arkan and some friends were enjoying drinks in the Intercontinental Hotel in Belgrade when 23-year-old Dubrasov Gavrik walked up to Arkan with a pistol and shot him in the head at close range, hitting him in the eye. Gavrik then shot and killed 2 of Arkan's companions before being shot and paralyzed by a bodyguard. Ražnatović died on the way to the hospital. He was 47 years old. On January 19, 2000, a memorial service was held in his honor. The ceremony was attended by thousands, including his widow and former members of Arkan's Tigers. Due to his close connections with the state over the years, there has been speculation about whether the shooter may have been acting on orders. In Serbia, Arkan's legacy is mixed. While some view him as a national hero and a symbol of strength and pride, others see an opportunistic criminal who used violence and force to maintain his power.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Underworld. If you're fascinated by the stories we uncover, make sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. For even more exclusive content, head over to our website at talesfromtheunderworld.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get insider access to deeper case details, early updates on new episodes, and more true crime content sent straight to your inbox. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay out of the shadows.